Hey, I'm Leigh LaRie.
And I'm Nik B.
And this is Dirty Roses Podcast, where two girls from the City of Roses discuss love, lust, and perception.
And we got two very different perspectives.
That's right, because my girl Nik B is a long-term habitual dater.
Oh, for real? That's what we're doing?
I mean, girl, it's facts.
Okay, you're right. And my girl Leigh LaRie was tied down and now newly single and don't know a thing about dating.
Dang, well, here we are taking our friends' dating stories
and having real life conversations.
Dirty Roses Podcast starts now.
Hey, I'm Leigh LaRie.
And I'm Nik B.
And welcome to our final episode of season 2. Woo! I need an applause button. We're going to click our nails. Y'all, we made it. This is our second full season, and I'm so excited. We have done so much. I think next season I'm going to pick a new word than excited, because I'm excited every freaking episode, which I am. That makes sense. Got mimosas here. It's an energy drink mimosa, I'm going to keep this party going. Today, as our final episode, and as we have promised throughout both seasons, we were going to take listener submissions of things like advice or, dating stories. So today's episode, the wild, crazy dating lives of us and our friends. So I will start off with a story. And guess what?
She's got a dating story, guys.
Now, y'all know I've only been seeing, so one of our guy friends pointed this out so kindly that I keep saying, I'm newly single. He's like, Leigh, it's been like a year and a half. And I'm like, it feels new to me. It's still new to me. But yeah, so I finally have a dating story. I have a few, but I've been holding off. Nik B's giving me the eye because she knows about my dating stories. But I'm gonna tell one, and it's funny. So I had recently kind of reconnected with somebody that I knew back from way back in the day, and we opted to go on a date. I was like, okay, I know this person. I feel comfortable. I feel confident that this would be good. So we had nice conversations. He picked me up. He planned the date. We went for sushi, and it was nice. It was really nice. However, I'm not a heavy eater, despite how thick I am. But so I ate a few bites of sushi. I had a couple pieces of sushi, and then I was done. And he was still eating, and then he was done, and then we just sat there, and we were staring at each other. And I was like, this is awkward. I don't know. Is this the date? I asked him, I said, is this the date? And he was like, well, I kind of thought we were going to be sitting here eating for a while. And I was like, oh, okay, my bad. So I don't know what to do now. So he was really quick on his feet, which was very nice. This actually was a very good half a portion of a date, right? So he finds a winery that's real nearby. We actually go to the winery. We do a whole flight. We taste the wines. We do all this stuff. It's on a vineyard. We get to walk around. It was like a whole vibe, right? So during the date, though, he made no moves. Like not a handhold, not a lean in and, give a little shimmy, shimmy, hug, kiss, whatever. Like nothing. And it was a whole vibe. When I say a vibe, like it's a sunny day in Oregon, beautiful weather. We like walking with our wine glasses through the grapes. I'm tasting grapes off the vines. It was a whole thing. Not a single piece of action, right? So it's a Sunday afternoon. I can't do too much because I've got kids. The kids are coming home from their dad's house. My kid also has a basketball game that day. So it was like a lot going on that late afternoon, right? So I was like, well, got to get home. So he drops me off. Well, he stops at the store first. I'm sorry. He stops at the store, and I'm thinking he's going to get some gum or some mints or whatever because we had sushi, fish and wine. So I'm like, whatever, no big deal. He drops me off at home. He gets out, kind of does this weird, like, awkward hug. And I'm like, okay, this is, I guess I'll see you around. It was really weird, uncomfortable at this point because I'm like, this is just weird. So I call him later, and I'm like, hey, do my whole little thanks for the day, thanks for paying, did all those good things. And I was like, well, next time, you can read the room, make a move. Girl, why he tell me I did? I was like, what do you mean? He's like,
what was his move?
When I went to the store, I bought condoms.
Did you know?
Girl, I did not.
And how was that a move?
I don't know, girl, but I was like, so first of all, a move has to be like where you do something and follow through, and I understand that it's a move. Secondly, who in the right effing mind thinks that buying condoms on a Sunday afternoon was gonna happen, honestly?
The Lord said,
on today's Lord's Day,
the Lord said,
I was like,
wrapping it up.
I felt really awkward after that because I was like, I actually asked him what his Cash App was and sent him money for half the date. And then
why?
because I was like, clearly you had expectations that I did not meet. And so therefore I do not want this hanging over my head. Because we probably will not be going out again after this. If that's what you thought a move was on a first date on a Sunday afternoon. And then you told me, like, the awkwardness of him telling me he bought condoms because that was his way of making a move, which is so freaking weird. I just can't.
I have so many questions. Okay, one, have you talked with him since this date?
Very casually, briefly, and not much. No, I mean a little bit, but not much. And not because I even attempted to. I was like, let me try again. No, his follow through was trash. He tried to make a date and then never called me back after he asked me on a second date.
When you guys were at sushi, did it feel like it was friend zoned, or did it feel like there was any spark?
There was a natural chemistry because I knew him from prior. I knew him from being younger. And so there was a natural chemistry, and it was an inquisitive chemistry, I think. It was like I was trying to get to know him. It wasn't completely friend zone, but it wasn't actually like sex bells and whistles. But it could have been had that went better.
I wish I had a guy on the show right now, because I'm curious, why was his move buying condoms instead of the hand on the small of the back or the romantic kiss at the vineyard? Why were none of those?
Okay, so he did do the hand on the small of my back, but it was really brief. Okay, so it was like, when a guy passes by you at the club and he puts his hand on your back and then scoots past you and then it's done. Yeah, say the little action, like you put your booty back, but it was like, but no, seriously, like it was like that. He did that and scooted past me in the middle of the vineyard. So it was really weird. I was like, okay, you just switching sides, whatever. But then he let go, didn't hold on, no lingering. That was it.
So wait, real quick though, at an open grape farm, he had to scoot past you because there was no room.
Yes, so he did call that also a move. He claims he made 3 moves, and I'm gonna tell you this. He said he made 3 moves. His first move was attempting to sit next to me at the sushi place.
Do you like that?
I do not. I like making eye contact, and I say eye because y'all know I got one good eye. I say, plus he wanted to sit on the side that I couldn't see on. I'm like, bruh, if you sit there, I'm literally by myself talking in the midair. Like I need you to be across from me or even on the other side. But he wanted to sit on my bad side. And I was like, no, I want to look at you. And I like reading body language. I like making the eye contact because it feels like I'm actively listening. If you're sitting next to me, I have to turn. I have to do a little bit extra. I can't really engage with you the way that I want to. And maybe that's just a me thing. And I feel bad that I maybe blew his communication style. But I don't know. But anyways, he claimed that was his move number 1. I don't know if that's a move. Okay. The second move was the hand on the back to scoot past me in the open area and then let go.
In the grape farm.
In the grape farm, and then let go. Like, it wasn't even like he held on. I did end up, I had to grab his arm to kind of make it a little thing, but it wasn't that. And then the third move was the condoms.
Okay, so in an ideal date, ideal date for you, guys, listen, take notes, because she's going to drop some insights.
Yes.
Okay,
so first plan the date, yes.
Plan the date. Sit across because she can't see you.
Mm-hmm. And if it's an eating date, it's got to be a place where we can sit and talk and maybe have drinks.
Yeah, or people watch so that you can talk about people walking by.
Yeah, not the sushi conveyor belt.
Okay, and then if you're gonna take her to a grape farm,
grab my booty, kiss me in my face.
Don't just graze it.
Yeah, grab cup the booty with both hands. Hold on tightly and then kiss
it.
And
if you're gonna take her home, don't stop by the store to get condoms on a Sunday. That's a Saturday move.
Listen,
not on Sunday.
I'm not saying that I'm out here being active, but I'm saying if I were to be active, a Sunday date is not gonna get you no ass. I'm just saying. So no Sunday dates. Sunday dates are
not hump on a Sunday.
Sunday dates could be saved for first dates, because I usually first dates for me are non-intimate type dates. I mean, I like intimate, like close personal, but not intimate. You know what I'm saying? So first dates are like where I want to get to know you. I want to see if there's a vibe. We're probably gonna do something during the daytime. I got to be able to see, so we're not going nowhere dark. I got to be able to drive home, so it's going to be in the daytime. I got to be able to have an escape plan. I have my friends on speed dial. Like, that's a first date for me. And then, after that,
location tracker will be on.
yes.
And I'll be sending you messages like, I see you driving down 33rd.
Yeah, except for the tracker we learned is trash, because I think I went on a date and you were tracking, like,
I see you.
and that was like 3 hours ago. I was like, I'm dead in the river somewhere. And
I know that Wendy's ordering a...
pretty much, yeah, that was my life. So y'all be careful with these trackers. They work, but they don't work. Anywho, that was an interesting dating story for me, which was really long. I'm sorry, y'all. But Nik B, I know we've shared a lot of your dating stories. But do you have anything interesting, crazy, wild?
Yeah, so this dating story was kind of funny. We both laughed about it, and it's right up my alley with how incredibly corny I am. But this guy, I met him online, and I think it was Hinge, because I do like Hinge. I met him on Hinge, and we were messaging each other for like 2 weeks, and everything was great, and we decided to have a first date. And so I drove all the way out to where he lives, because he lives maybe 45 minutes from me. Woo! And the plan was to meet, and then from there we were gonna like go to dinner or something. I didn't know what he had planned, but he had something planned. So I get to his place and I'm parking the car, and he's like, all right, I'm coming outside. And so I go to cross the street, and I see him walking down the street, and he's got like some flowers in his hand. And I was like, hey. And he's like, hey. I'm like, oh my gosh, how are you? And I give him a hug. He's like, I'm good. And I actually brought him some cupcakes, right? Because I made cupcakes and I had some left over from an order. So I was like, I got these for you. He's like, that is so sweet. And I'm looking at him, and I was like, you look different in person.
Oh, God. Oh, because you made a point. I see where this is going. Okay.
And so in my head, I'm thinking, am I low-key getting catfished, right? Because
oh, shit.
I was like, he kind of fits the description. He's a tall, black male. That was the only thing in common.
I was going to say, you and your important job do be discriminating against people. I feel some kind of way.
And so just as he hugs me again and thanking me for the cupcakes, my actual date walks up. And he's like, what the fuck's going on here? No. And she's already looking at me. I look at him. And then I look at the guy, and it was like that meme of the Spider-Man, like, are you him? Are you him? Are you him? And the thing is that the guy that I was hugging was also on a first date.
Oh, my God.
And he had never met the girl in person either.
He probably looked at each other like, damn, she do not look the same.
I thought I was getting catfished. I was like, so this is what happens when people put the wrong profile picture up, or they use too many filters.
Oh, God.
What happened?
Was it a good bad, or was it a good different, or like not
just
so
different?
Great? It wasn't a bad thing?
He wasn't ugly, but I think the guy that I was meeting was cuter.
Okay, gotcha.
And so when I saw him, I was just like, yeah, you don't look like... I'm going to take the cupcake. I said, can I get those cupcakes?
These work for you.
Oh my God. And so he hands it to me, and I literally I hand it to the right guy. These are your red velvet. These are your red velvet.
Wait, so did the girl that he was meeting never show up, or do you even know?
She did. They were meeting at a restaurant nearby. And so funny, when me and my actual date got ready to leave, we drove past and saw them sitting in there. I was like, we should go in and join them for dinner.
Okay, so did she look like you in any kind of way whatsoever?
Yes. She was light skin with curly hair. And she was another mixed girl, light skin, curly hair. And he was like, he fit the general description. I really did think I was getting catfished. I was like, oh my God, I didn't think it would happen to me. This is it. Let me not be rude to this guy and be like, who the heck are you? But when I said, hey, is that you? And he was like, hey, he's like, yeah, that's me.
Yeah, that's me. I beats that nigga, man.
I was like, well, clearly we are each other, so we must be in the right place.
Oh, God, it
was hilarious. Me and the actual guy, we laughed about that all night. And so then we ended up going to a casino, and I lost all his money.
Wait, say to get all his money.
Yeah, because he gave me $40 to play. Girl, I was hitting them buffalo quarters. Oh, slap the sheet. Yeah, yep. So I was just pushing the button, just this all day long.
Oh my
I
goodness.
think I did break even. He gave me 40, and I think I ended up winning 45. So I gave him the 40 back and kept that $5 like a bitch is getting messed up.
See, I would have kept the whole 40. I would have kept the whole 45. Like you gave it to me. Like that's my money.
No. So actually, no. I've actually surveyed a couple guys. This is the rule for how it goes for casino date.
Okay.
With casino dates, hold on.
Yeah. Okay, for those of y'all listening, remember Nik B's got cats, and the cat is on its way in to make an appearance on his
He's sitting by me. Okay, we're good for a
weekly podcast.
He's like, "What's the topic today, huh?"
This is why we're single.
So, okay, no, here's the rule for casino dates.
Okay.
Listen in. All right. If you go on a casino date and it is polite for the guy to give you money to play with because he's taking you on the date, right?
Right.
If you lose whatever he gives you, you just lost it. He knows that it was a gamble. We're here having a good time. But whatever you win, you reimburse him what he gave you, and you keep the win. Yeah, you give him back what he gave you.
But you keep the winning.
But you keep the winning.
Okay, hold on. I feel some kind of way, and I hear it, and I understand it, and I receive it, and it seems like the right thing to do, per se. But let's compare. The guy takes you on a dinner date, and you eat the food. Are you supposed to give it back?
If you eat the food.
I mean, because the money's gone. Like, he spends money on the...
We're playing a gambling game. We're not playing did you consume food game. No, I'm listen, you should ask a guy what his expectation would be, because when I gave him back his 40, no questions asked. He was like, "You realize how many cool points you just won in my butt?" He was like, This right here equals out you hugging the wrong dude at the beginning of the date. He's like, "You're back at ground one." You're back.
I clearly don't have a lot of good experience with guys paying for stuff, which we can get into that love later when we talk about dating do's and don'ts. But Nik B, our very first episode on season 1, you curated some questions for us to kind of let people get to know us some more, and those were really fun, and people really like that. So you have come up with some questions kind of to talk about some dating things.
Okay, so, first question I'm curious about. Okay. On a first date for you.
Okay.
Who pays?
The guy.
Why?
Usually, and the reason why is because usually on a first date, a guy has asked me out. I don't think I've ever made a first date move. And my thought process is not because it's the first date, it's just because of who asked. So whoever asks or invites the person out, I think is the one who should pay. So if I invite a guy out and I'm like, "Hey, you should come meet me somewhere for food or whatever, or let's go get something to eat," because I have asked you to go somewhere that you had no intention of going initially or to spend money, that's my responsibility. So a first date, I feel like, because normally the guy is the one that asks, he should be the one that pays.
So then, and I saw this on Facebook.
Okay.
My question is, do you have a level of expectation of what's being spent on a first date? So if the guy on a very first date says, "Hey, let's go to Baskin Robbins. I got you on a double scoop."
Hey, that's like $11.
Say nothing. Right. Or are you, because this woman who commented, she's like, "I'll be damned if on a first date you're taking me to get ice cream, something that I can get myself." She's expecting steakhouse, not just any steakhouse, but like
Ruth
an
Chris.
upscale, beyond Ruth Chris. Because let's face it, I mean, Ruth Chris.
That's true. That's like the new Olive Garden now. Is that Olive Garden for steaks? I love Olive Garden, by the way. It's just like Outback, which has been our thing for all season. We should talk about Outback. We should get okay, never mind. I'm lying. We need sponsorship, Outback. We need y'all to pay. Send us steaks.
Blooming onion.
So with that, so the expectation as far as how much is spent, I'm more of a thought person. So it's like, if you put thought into a date, I'm okay with however much it costs. So if your date was Baskin Robbins and we went for a walk somewhere, I'm totally fine with that. Now, if we go to Baskin Robbins, sit inside the ice cream parlor, and then we're done, I'm going to feel some kind of way because that's not a thoughtful date. But it does not have to cost a lot of money. I just have to feel like you put effort into it. Now, I will say, so I went on a first date recently with somebody that this was a scenario. And it kind of will lead into some more do's and don'ts of dating. So I'll share this story. So I met a younger guy, and he was really young. I didn't know how young he was. He thought I was younger. And
where did you meet him at? A playground? How do you misunderstand the age?
Okay, so I was at a lounge with a friend. And
he's of age.
He's of age, yes. So he's of age to be there. He sits next to me. We start having a conversation. It was a cute conversation. I was like, all right, cool. We exchange IGs. I'm like, okay, well, don't be a weirdo. Follow me back, kind of a thing. And then we're talking about tattoos. And he was like, oh, I like your tattoos and everything. And I'm like, okay, cool. I'll see.
And you were like, let me show you my back.
Hey, I was pulling out the thighs and everything. I was like, see all of this ink. So for those of y'all that don't know, I have a lot of tattoos. Well, not a lot. I have I have 4 tattoos.
Girl, you have a whole back piece that goes to your ankles. I've seen it.
Because I have a long back. No ass, just back. No. So I have 2 really, really large tattoos, and then I have 2 smaller tattoos. But the way that I have them positioned, they're not visible unless I intentionally show them off. So anyways, I was intentionally showing off a little leg tattoo. Okay. He liked it. I was like, okay, well, I'll DM you the tattoo artist information, right? He was like, well, it'd be better if, we could do it via text. And I was like, oh, okay, slide through with the little hint, right? I said, okay, cool. So I was feeling myself at this point. I had a few drinks. So I was like, cool, let's exchange numbers. So he gave me his phone, and I put my number in, put my name in and everything. And then here's where it goes downhill. He says, put an emoji by your name. Now, what fucking grown-ass man requires you to have an emoji? That's things that I see only kids doing. Like, my son does that. And I see younger people, and I was like, oh, fuck. I've already put my number in his phone. We've already exchanged information at this point. He wants an emoji. I was like, all right.
He wants an emoji.
Click. And so then after that, I was like, so I got to ask, how old are you? He was like, oh, yeah, girl, I'm almost 30. I was like, oh, okay.
I was almost 30 10 years ago.
That part. Like, it was 11 years ago that I was almost 30. Oh, my God. And so he was like, why? How old are you? And I was like, old enough to be your older sister, your cooler older sister. He was like, what? He's like, you're like 25, right? Which is also letting me know that he hits on older women quite frequently because I look young, but I don't look nobody's 25. So I was like, oh, this is your MO to really highly overly compliment me to make me feel good, which I see through all the BS. Anyways, long story long, it is what it is. He asked me on a date later, like I left and we texted afterwards. I was like, let me be kind. So he invites me out. We end up choosing this local burger spot that's downtown Portland. We go, we meet up. There's a bar there. I'm like, cool. Let's go sit at the bar. Lady comes over. She asks for my drink order. So I give her a drink order. She comes back. She brings me the drink. And then she goes, do you want to keep the tab open? Which was weird to me because it's a burger spot. It's not a bar. Like, they have a bar, but it's a burger spot. It's a really common burger spot, too. So I'm like, I didn't know we kept tabs open at the burger place. Like, are we going, just in case I eat my burger and run? Like, I don't understand. So anyways, she asked for the credit card to be put on file. So I paused. He made no motion to move whatsoever to pay or to give his card. So then I was looking like, okay, this is a really awkward moment. Let me make it less awkward by giving her my card. So I gave her my card. She went away. We were looking at the menu. He's like, what are you going to order? And I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to get the small burger, whatever. I'm like, what are you getting? He's like, I'll probably get this burger, which was like the most basic, cheapest option possible. Now, note, he works out, he bodybuilds, kind of, or is trying to weight gain. I don't know, not a single person who's trying to weight gain who's going to order the most basic burger ever in life. Like, I was like, 9 times out of 10, you're going to order the double stacked bacon stuffed crust, poppy seed.
Not stuffed crust.
Yeah, the stuffed crust cheeseburger, all of that, right? So he did not order those. And so I was like, okay, that's weird. So anyways, I was like, okay, cool. I see where his budget is, right? So this is where I'm going. The budget was like fairly small. So anyways, date was over.
Your card was on file, not his.
That part. But I was like, I thought it was for the drinks. So she comes over and she's like, okay, with the check and everything. She's like, you want to pay with the card? And I paused because I'm thinking he's going to pull out the card or at least say I'll pay for the food. She can pay for the drinks because he did order some drinks after a while. And so I was like, okay, so she asked who's going to pay, how we're going to pay. again, he made no move, not even a flinch. Like, to me, it would be like if a man asked me out and intended to pay, and then here I am having to pay, he would even have some kind of look on his face. There was nothing. He's looking at his phone like, yeah, bitch, pay.
Because he's not new to this. This is probably...
That is his ammo. I'm going to tell this bitch she look like she's 25 and she going to take me to Killer Burger. I was like, yeah. So I ended up paying, and we ended up walking around downtown, ended up at a day party. It was a whole vibe of me feeling old as fuck, like seriously. But I said that to say I have no expectation of cost. I just have an expectation that if you ask me out, you're going to pay. And he didn't.
Oh.
Which also I could attribute to him being a fucking toddler at this point. But
there's that.
Yeah.
So I will say I've had two scenarios. One where I was taken on a very expensive date and I absolutely thought I needed to put out, so I did.
Really, I'm not putting out on these dates because they're trash, but you get, ooh, okay.
Thank you for the steak.
She said, if you're going to go somewhere expensive, be prepared to delay.
Keep in mind, even though it was our first official date, I had actually known the guy for a couple years. And
okay.
He wasn't a stranger to me.
Gotcha. Wait, did y'all flirt before then, or was it like y'all were friends and then, so it was like always there?
It was always there.
Okay.
We met randomly, but we don't live in the same area. And we kept in touch via Messenger, via cell.
Okay.
Like, we actually talked to each other.
Okay.
And it so happened he was in town, and he was like, hey, I'm going to be
about to go down.
Got me that.
Hey.
Him with the back.
Oh, wait, so do you have sex on a full stomach?
Well,
I can't.
I don't think my stomach was full to the point where I was going to, like...
I think if I know I'm going to have sex, I don't eat a lot because I feel like I'm going to blow.
I mean, I feel good. I don't know that I've been in that case.
I've never been, but I don't know. I had this fear. Maybe it's just an unreasonable fear. I need to look up that phobia. Phobias of accidentally shitting on somebody during sex. Google that. Producers, Google that for me. By the end of the show, we're going to know what this phobia is.
What's that phobia called? But I will say that one of the very, very best dates that I went on cost little to nothing. It could have cost nothing and it would have been okay. But he was being a gentleman and offered to buy something and he didn't need to. But best first date ever, and I've told him this, was we went to the museum. And the museums are free. But he paid attention to what I liked. Like, we had conversation leading up to our first date. And he knows that I'm an artsy kind of girl. I appreciate anything visual arts. And he was like, hey, how about we go check out this museum? And it was great because we walked around. We were able to look at paintings and then talk about our thoughts behind them, or it sparked conversation.
I love that.
So it's like we walked around the museum. It was the best first date ever. And where costs came in at all was towards the end. We went to the dining hall area. And I think we had coffee.
Oh, nice.
You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't and he paid for that.
Okay.
And so, I mean, that was two scenarios of I will say, though, when I go on a date, I always bring my own money.
Just in case.
Just in case.
Yeah.
Because I would hate to be in a situation where the guy, which I've had this, has been like, so you just want to split this? And then I don't want to be like, I don't have split money on me.
Right.
Oh, I always have money to at least cover myself so that if something goes crazy, I know that I don't feel like I'm depending on anybody. But my expectation is that he's going to pay for it.
Right. That makes sense. That's kind of a catch-22 because you order based on your own personal budget when you could have splurged maybe.
But I mean, but I don't want to splurge.
I don't. I'm just saying that to be an asshole.
Yeah. I don't want to be.
I feel like a couple of them dates that I went on, I should have splurged. Fuck boys. But yeah. Okay. So what my best date? I think actually. Okay. So I had a date where it was a second interaction with the person, but it was our first time actually going on a date. He took me to a waterfront restaurant, which was really nice. And then we vibed out, kind of like we had a whole love and basketball moment. I took out his braids. He was massaging my feet. We watched TV shows. I say that it was a good date because it was a real good vibe. Like, it was just a really good energy. It was real natural. It wasn't forced. The conversations were good. we were laughing and kikiing and just having a real intimate moment that didn't have to be sexual. And it was really nice. Like, I've had some really nice dates, like a couple trips and things, that were dates, extended dates.
I have never had anybody flew me out anywhere. Okay.
Getting flued out is overrated because there's expectations and they're usually not met for you aside from the trip.
So now this is you've been on flown out dates more than once.
I have.
And what would you tell me your experience with that? Like, would you do it again? Would you do it again with the same person?
With the same people? Hell to the fuck no. Hell nah. Would I do it again? Period. I would definitely take a free trip. Yes.
So far, the track record has been hell nah, not again.
I'm such a risk taker. Okay. I have hopes that at some point it'll go well. Hoping at some point I may be more. I would definitely be more careful as to who I allow to fly me out. So I would say maybe I wouldn't just take a date from anybody like that, but I would be more picky about who I went or selected.
But I will say this, because you and we are able to talk off the show.
Yes.
I feel that you do a really good job asking what the expectations are ahead of time.
I do. Okay, so to clarify, yeah. Okay, well, so to clarify, so if I have been, so I have been offered 2 trips at this point in the course of this year and a half. Won't say how frequent or recent they were, but anyways, 2 trips. And before the trip happens, I ask questions like, what are the sleeping situations? What are the expectations? Am I going to be locked in a cage? Are you going to kidnap me and sell me for sex?
But would they give you a straight answer if that's what
they don't, but it allows, it's my jokey way of asking difficult questions. So I kind of ask those questions, but then to really be like, so what are your expectations? I'd be like, are the expectations that every night that we do something, we come back and have mind-blowing sex or what? I'm like, I don't know what it's supposed to be. But I ask because I want to be sure that we both had the same understanding prior to me getting at the airport. Like, I want to make sure, or even before I even accept the ticket at this point, before I accept money or the ticket, I want to make sure that we've had this conversation, that we understand that I've been clear on what I'm comfortable with, and I know that what they're expecting for the amount of money that they're spending. Does it go?
Flown out is your version of getting that steak dinner. It was an expectation.
Maybe. Y'all are gonna get my details today. I would say that there is an expectation of some level of intimacy happening with a flown out.
Would you ever take a trip and flat out be like, we're not gonna be intimate? Would you even be comfortable letting that person know, sure, fly me in, sure, spend the money, but no, I'm not going to mess around with you? Would you actually ever do that?
So I don't know, but honestly, I don't think I would take a trip with somebody that I wasn't remotely interested in that way. So I don't think that even needs to be a question, but I also don't, like, if it was a guy that I'm like, yeah, I'm clearly not sexually interested in this person, I don't think I would go.
Okay, devil's advocate, you're interested, but maybe this is like your first date. And usually on most first dates,
the trap house.
No, we're not.
Oh, God. Yes, we are going to get to that. Okay.
But usually on most first dates, and I won't say that it's always, but I don't think a serious first date that we're taking serious, most women are not trying to sleep with you on a first date.
Yeah, I also, okay, so with the exception of trap house, I guess it's only two options.
Why are you calling it a trap house? I feel like
we will get to that. What I'm going to say though is that I think typically, okay, I guess that is a first date. It was. Oh, Jesus fucking Christ! I'm a whore. You're like, yeah, you are.
You know you.
Hey.
How do you know? Because I told you so.
Hey. Okay, and we're gonna get to your rapping skills in a second too. Okay, trap house. Let's talk about trap house because we are okay. I got flued out with a guy that I had met and then talked to for about a month. I think I'm gonna say we talked every day, hours a day, a lot. And it was a very great vibe, a great energy. We FaceTimed regularly. It was like a whole thing, right? So I was like, okay, cool. I'm comfortable accepting this ticket. And it was also in an area where I have a friend that in case things went sour, I could go and stay at her house. Hint, my co-host. So yeah, I got flew out to DC. So but it was a lot of promises. I got promises to go take a train to New York. I got promised wine and dining. I got all these things that were, kind of set up as an expectation. I get there. We pull up to his apartment, which is fine. I'm not judging apartments because, it's, everybody lives in something.
Was it an apartment or a condo?
The sign outside said condo. I believe he owned it. So I say apartment because if you guys have ever been to DC, and this is coming from an outsider, a lot of their condos, apartment buildings look like projects. And I'm just being real. They're brick buildings. They look like military housing or straight legit like Ninth Ward, Louisiana project buildings, right?
Look like old dorms.
They do. They're just no character to the building at all whatsoever. But I've seen some, and they're really nice in the inside. So I did not judge it pulling up. I should have. I should have judged the fuck out of that place. We walk in, and before I even step foot inside, first of all, this motherfucker's got grass turf on his front stoop. Like, why do you have turf on your stoop? Like, I don't understand. Anyways, walk in, I open the door. I'm looking inside, and all I can see is there's 3 different types of flooring within eyesight of the door. There's laminate, there's tile, and there's a fake wood floor. All within eyesight. Why the fuck could they not pick a floor? Not to mention, he had over a month to plan this, did not clean up. When I say did not fucking clean up, did not clean up. It was like laundry was everywhere. There were papers everywhere. There were shoes everywhere. And it was fucking dirty. When I say dirty, it was dirty. Like on the side of the walls, there was stuff in the corners. There was, I didn't want to sit on the couch. It was fine.
I remember getting messages from Leigh LaRie, and she was like, oh my God. She's like, I can't. And I'm like, do you need me to come get you? And she's like, I'm committed to this now.
When I commit to something, I'm committed. Hence a 21-year fucking relationship. But
I committed. The biggest disappointment was that he really made it sound like he was polished.
Girl.
Not just had his stuff together, but that he was polished.
When I say, okay, now here's the thing too. So he told me that he owned 3 properties. He's an entrepreneur. He owns his own business, does all these things, has 4 or 5 cars, like all these things, which I was able to verify the houses because I did do a background check. Yes, we do background checks. Shout out to my home girl who has the membership to Background Checks R Us. And I was able to verify that he owned these houses. But girl, when I say he's probably a fucking slumlord, I can't. I had videos. I would put the videos online.
Based on her video, I actually wrote a rap.
Yes. Okay. We need to see. Nik B, you ready? Go. Yeah. Yeah.
So keep in mind, this is me doing a little rap from the perspective of Leigh. So I'm channeling her. Okay. Starts out like this. I met this zaddy about 2 months ago.
Hey.
Things were going good till I went to his home.
Hey.
I walked in the door, there were fly traps pop.
Hey.
Tried to sit down till I saw something hopping in the corner. I looked in the corner. Got massaged my back. He was getting a boner.
Our bars. Mic drop. I should knock this mic over like we did during the Toxic episode. No, but dead ass. The fly traps were real, y'all. The fly traps were in every single corner of every single fucking room. It was so, I was afraid that like I couldn't turn because I was afraid I was going to bump my head into a dead fly hanging from a piece of paper.
And then your hair will get stuck to the paper.
Right. And I, paid a lot for my hair at that point. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was a lot. It was a horrible trip. There were good pieces of it, but it was overall.
Were there though? Because you guys didn't even get to go to like the fancy restaurant. One of your requirements was you said you'd like to go somewhere where you have to like be fancy. Not just get dressed up like you're going
So I will be fair and say DC is fucking expensive. So every time we ate, he did
But he's
spend.
got it like that, man.
I mean, but yes,
That's true. From it's undersold.
that is very true. We did every time we ate, we did go to places that we picked out because Nik B sent me a whole list of options of places to go check out. And some of them were really fucking dope. So I'm not mad at the fact that I didn't get to get dressed up. Now, I am mad about missing the New York trip because he promised the fuck out of that.
And I planned that thing.
She did plan it. We're supposed to go see Lion King. We're supposed to go walk on Times Square.
I go to Bond 45 and
All of that. You know what I'm saying? But we ended up staying because he had to go hit licks and pick up money to pay for the rest of my trip there. So we did eat out at some really nice places. Probably spent about $150 every time we ate out. And these weren't fancy places, but they were decent. They were nice, cornerstones of the DC area. So that was cool. Yeah, but anyways, getting food out is not all that it's cracked up to be. So I definitely will be way more selective.
we had more fun when we were together on
For
that trip.
the 2 days that I stayed.
Yeah, yeah. I saw you at the end of the trip. I picked you up,
And I did not look back. I did not. In fact, after I got back home, we did not talk anymore. But that's funny, though, because in talking about this trap house, it kind of leads me to one of our listener letters. So I got some, it's a submission. This is from a guy. A guy submitted this. Y'all know I'm not good with the drinks. I know our producers is looking at me like, don't do it. Don't drop the drink. Don't
look at
drop that. Hey, don't drop that. Okay. Listener letter. So we're going to bypass the fact that I almost knocked my drink over. Okay. So this guy sends an email and says, I had been talking to this girl for months. Finally decided to meet up for a date. We hit it off great. She invited me back to her place. We sat, had some wine. Then I asked to use her bathroom. I go to the bathroom, and when I closed the door and turned the lights, to my surprise, her bathtub was full of garbage. The sink was dirty as hell. The toilet was dirty. I immediately left out and told her I needed to leave because I needed to go home and clean my fish tank. Wait, hold on, sorry. I had to read this again. He had to go clean his fish tank so the fish would stop barking. Bitch, your house is so dirty, my fish tank barks. And he never spoke to her since. When I tell you, this is really how I felt at the trap house.
First of all, you cleaned that man's trap house.
I did.
You called me and you're like, I'm doing his dishes. Never should you. Never.
All 3 of them, because he had 1 plate, 1 bowl, a fork, a knife, and a glass.
Never should you ever go on vacation to someone's place and clean their house as a guest. I have a question.
Okay. I don't know if I can answer, but okay, go ahead.
Why, when you walk into the bathroom, can you see in the bathtub? Did he pull that curtain back?
I'm assuming so, because I know if she was hiding trash in her bathtub.
How did you know the trash?
But act like you don't go in bathrooms and be poking through and stuff. You won't be looking at the cabinets since I do.
I don't. What is wrong with you?
I'm nosy as fuck.
You go through their medicine cabinet?
I sure the fuck do, because if you taking something if you taking an antibiotic, I need to know. I need to know.
Maybe they have a cool.
If there is a little,
And
we do not want to catch no chlamydias. So I'm checking out. I'm checking for antibiotics. I'm checking for little blue pills. I'm checking for all things.
Little pills benefits you, so don't knock that one.
It does, but if you have heart problems and a little blue pill, I got to be concerned. I don't want you dying.
Too far ahead.
I'm just saying it could happen. It has happened. Not with me, just in general. Anyways, but act like you don't be searching. People do. And when I invite people over, I hide my medicines just because I don't want people being nosy. Not that I have antibiotics, but I'm just saying, I don't want people being nosy with my stuff. So I hide stuff. And in fact, I intentionally fill my cabinet up with my vitamins to be like, look how healthy I am. I'm a healthy bitch. Oh, God.
Question though, if this had been you and you had gone,
I would not be hiding trash in my fucking bathroom, in my bathtub.
Okay.
That's disgusting. Because I know people would.
You would.
Okay.
No. But let's just say you went to a guy's house, and we're gonna eliminate the trap house story because clearly you've been to a filthy house. But clearly you've
Please, gentlemen who want to date me, do not let that set a tone or a standard of what I accept. That was an exception, and now there's a rule. We'll go.
Okay. So if you were to go to someone's home and walk into their bathroom or kitchen, two places that we'd really like to keep clean.
Mm-hmm.
And it's messy. Are you staying on this date, or are you just going to be like, he's a guy, or maybe they just didn't have enough time to clean and rock with them? Or is that like a deal breaker for you? Would you leave if you saw a filthy bathroom? I'm not just going to say messy, but this one had trash in the bathtub.
Okay, if it was filthy, I would probably leave. If it was messy or just a little bit dirty, I might write it out and assume that it was a one-time thing. Now, if it's twice, then no, I would leave. But filthy, absolutely. So where am I going to go to the bathroom at? Do I got to go outside? Because I won't sit on a dirty toilet. I will. If your bathroom is nasty,
put some toilet paper down. Like make your own.
Girl. I cleaned that man's bathroom before I use it. I scrubbed his fucking toilet. I will not use a dirty bathroom. I will not. Yeah, you've seen it, the before and after, and it still looked gross. I will not use a filthy toilet. And so if your bathroom is filthy, not happening at all.
All right. What's the next?
Okay, next one. This one also was a guy submission. Went on a date with a girl. As we were walking in the restaurant and I go to open the door, my baby mother pushes past us to walk in ahead of us. I wanted to leave, but my date really wanted to stay. I did not tell her what was happening, but my baby mother sat with an eye shot the whole night.
Okay. So
it is Portland, and Portland is very small.
Portland is small. Now, I will say that this this did happen to me, only I don't have a kid. I went on, actually, it wasn't even a date.
Okay.
Me and one of my guy best friends, because I have a lot of guy best friends. This is an undergrad. He and I went to Olive Garden, and we were just like, yo, we trying to get them endless breadsticks and salads and shit. We on a budget, right? Let's split this shit.
Oh, my God. She came with split money.
Right? That's when going Dutch started happening, okay? So we're in there, and as we are waiting to be seated, my ex,
oh God, it's not the coat ex, is it? Not the coat
ex. No, not with the coat. A different ex, which you do know, but you don't realize that you know who I'm talking about right now.
Okay.
He walks past. No, he comes in behind me on a date.
Oh shit.
And he didn't tell me that he was dating anybody, but he's now on a date with a girl, and him and I were still kind of seeing each other. And so
that is awkward
because I know in his mind he thinks I'm on a date. I know he's on a date. I know exactly he's on a date. But I know that he assumes I am too, where I wasn't. And so my friend was like, do you want to leave? He's like, yo, we don't have to stay. And I was like, fuck no, we're gonna get some breadsticks.
She said, I want these breadsticks. These garlicky, buttery, nice breadsticks.
And so the host seats me and my buddy. We sit down. Girl, why did they seat him right behind me? So it was
an episode of Moesha. I swear to God. I swear.
My back were next to each other, and then he didn't say nothing to me.
Did he reach behind and took your booty like?
No. We didn't even talk. And like, I sent him a message a couple days later because he didn't even live in town. That's how I know this was a date, because he lived out of town.
He took a girl on an out-of-town date to Olive Garden.
No, not even like that. He was in town visiting his homeboys and seeing other girls in town, much like he was seeing me in town. And him and I were still talking, dating, but we weren't like together. But he took another female out, knowing that him and I were just like together the night before. It was weird, but that happened. And so, this listener, would you have stayed like I stayed at the restaurant? Would you have stayed?
Because like the listener did not let his date know that was what was going on. So I almost think I might have stayed to prevent the current situation being awkward in the future. Because if you tell them like, hey, this is what's happening right now, it makes it uncomfortable. And I don't know, based on this letter, I don't know how many dates him and this person have been on. So I don't know at what stage they're at in the relationship or their dating scenario. But I think it creates an opportunity to tell more about your personal life than you may want to by saying, oh, that's my baby mom. Because now I'm my baby dad or whatever. Now the person knows who you used to date. They're going to have questions about why is it uncomfortable for you to stay. There's going to be a whole lot of explanation that goes along with it, I think. I don't know. That's just how I envision it.
I want to know if the baby mom showed up on purpose Something about the way that story was told makes it seem like she was following him or checking on him. See, he was out.
Which is very likely, because I think, I don't know, I think that this might be like that kind of a situation.
Yeah. So that's kind of weird. Okay.
This next story, yes, girl, this next one's funny. Okay, you ready?
Yep.
Went out with some friends out of town. This was a girl submission. Okay, went with some friends out of town. Met a guy. We hit it off. He ended up coming back to my hotel room and started getting frisky. We were going at it. All positions, all over the bed. We were about 3 rounds in, and he went to the bathroom for a quick break. While he was there in the bathroom, I felt my coochie was still super juicy. I put my hand down there and realized I had started my period. The lights were off, and he came back to go again. At this point, we had already ran all the red lights, so I didn't say anything. After a few hours, he ended up leaving. I turned the lights on and saw the entire bed was covered in blood.
Oh, no.
There was literally blood everywhere. I was so embarrassed.
Oh, my God. Okay, I have questions.
Oh, gosh.
I know you don't have answers because, okay, so the listener, she started her period.
I think it sounds like during sex, she started a period. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know if he noticed. I don't know. Clearly, she noticed after it already gone down.
What would you do? Like, okay, if this had been you, would you talk to this guy again, or would you hope that he never runs into you?
I think my initial reaction is like, never call this guy again because I'm so fucking embarrassed. But the other thought is like, did he notice? And then if he noticed, is that on some super freaky ass shit? Like, is he like a red light runner regularly? Like, how does that even happen? Like, and then how many other girls?
He had to have.
I don't know, because.
Okay, wait. When he paused for the cause and went to the bathroom, he had to have noticed because there was a murder scene on his lower half.
Right. I would assume so, but I don't know. So I'm curious. I don't know. My assumption is, I think
listener, if you're listening, we have follow-up questions.
We're going to put that on social media because we're going to get the answer to that one. But I feel like, for me personally, I think I would make a joke out of it later. Be like, oh my God, did you see what happened? I can't believe that happened, and see what he says. And then however he responds, be like, he did notice or he didn't notice.
The thing is like, depending on the guy, I know that if you've been with your guy for some time, and you're comfortable with the guy will be like, girl, I don't care about none of that.
Right, they're going to put that towel down. Right, but that's when you're comfortable.
Well, that's when you're comfortable. So I'm curious if this guy was like,
don't give a fuck about
deal.
Right, but here's my thing. Well, at least we know ain't nobody getting pregnant because you dropping all your ovaries at that point. But I don't know. It's like a catch-22 for me. Like, in a way, it's like, okay, cool, he's really comfortable. But then also, like, does he do this regularly? And how much blood does he have embedded in his fucking penis? Because that's a lot of stuff. Okay, we're getting too into it. Okay. Last listener story. On a date, this is from a female, okay? So on a date with a guy, took a cab home from the club. Yes, a cab. So this must be like a long time ago.
Right.
I was drunk, started giving the dude oral in the back seat. The cab driver pulled up to his house. I'm assuming the date's house. My dude got out first. I followed. As I was getting out of the cab, the driver leaned back and asked if he could come pick me up tomorrow and get some head. I think I was too drunk to be offended. Have you ever gotten frisky in public?
In public, absolutely. But with a cabbie, no.
You remember that show, Taxi Cab Confessions? That shit used to go down in Taxi Cab Confessions. I feel like this might have been from, I don't know.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
But can you imagine? So,
no.
It sounds like the cab driver.
I'm embarrassed.
I feel like
never do
the fact that she did all that and then the cab driver leaned back and said something means that he was silently watching and didn't say nothing because.
Of course.
That is hilarious.
Even if he wasn't watching, I'm sure he could hear just fine.
Sorry, that is my best impersonation. I don't know how this goes down. Don't take that for sound value.
Absolutely, he could hear it. I'm sure the roof pop.
That's funny. Oh, I hope he didn't have a camera.
No, I'm sure there was no camera if this was back in the day of taxi cab.
Oh, right.
But I will say that there's also fragrances that, like,
She said he could smell the sex in the air.
that dirty rose.
Oh my God.
And you're in close proximity. You're like, is that a whiff? Coral back there?
I smell ball juice.
I don't.
I recognize that sound. Well, hold on. That's funny you say that I said that because I said it. Back in high school, I was with a bunch of friends and we were getting a ride from their mom, and their mom drove a van. And she sat in the back seat with one of our guy friends, and we were all sitting kind of like in the rows of front. And we got home to our house. We were all kind of like, everybody got dropped. The guy got dropped off, but all the girls went to her house. We were all kind of giggling. And she was like, oh my God, guys, I was jerking him off in the back seat. And I was like, I had no idea. I'm back here talking. I literally had kept turning around, slapping him like, oh my God. And my other friend who was sitting next to me in the row in front of them was like, I knew I recognized that sound. I was like, what sound? This is how green I was. I was like, what sound does that make?
Why do I know what friend probably said that, though? I'm cracking up.
I don't think you do, and I have to tell you about it later because it's not who you would think. I promise.
Okay.
This is great. None of the people involved in this story would be who you thought it was. I guarantee it. But it was really funny because I didn't know.
My question was, did you say it was the mom who was in the backseat?
No, the mom was driving. But the friend was in the back seat with the guy that we all went to school with. And then there was me and another friend in the middle row. And then there was a friend in the front seat. So we had all the seats full. But she was in the back of her mama's car. I don't even know if that's a sound it makes. That's how I envision the sound. Yes. But my friend that was sitting next to me in the middle row was like, I recognize that sound. So that was really funny. As apparently.
Okay, well, I think so. For me, I would never do that in
my mom's car with her
anybody's car. I'm even though I would do it in the public, I would never do it in that public.
You're gonna be leaving all kinds of secretions on your friend's car. Hey.
Oh gosh, and please don't let them have cloth seats. What in the world? It's never getting out.
Oh, and back in the day, they did have cloth seats in the vans. Oh, and they're teenagers, so you know he didn't wash his balls for real.
That's why it smelled like
spill.
That's why the cabbie was like, can I
bag you? I cannot, Nick. We got to get one more of your stories in. I feel like I done told. This is the first episode that I've actually told my dating stories. Can y'all believe it? Oh my God, it took about 2 whole seasons.
I think if I had another first date scenario that went epically wrong, was again back in undergrad, and my roommate across the hall from me, she was dating this guy in the military, and he had come home for a quick weekend deployment, and so we wanted to do a double date with one of his military buddies. The two of them, me, and this blind date. And all I knew was that I wanted to look cute, and so I had...
So she got her flannel out?
No, I left the flannel in Oregon.
Hey.
But I had these really cute gray slacks that like made my butt look great and made my stomach look flat. Okay. And it accentuated my figure well.
Okay.
They were old. I've had these pants probably since like my sophomore year of high school, and I'm now a sophomore in college. And
that's how thrifty she is. Again, and
yeah, maybe
as to our sexualness. But okay.
Oh,
cats,
me and me and my girlfriend get to her house. Her boyfriend and his date for me show up, and I'm upstairs getting dressed. She was too, but she comes down because they come to the door, so she lets them in, and they're downstairs meeting and greeting and talking. So I decided to finally make my way down.
Oh, she made the grand entrance with the cute booty pants. Okay.
But my grand entrance was the sound of because I missed the last 2 steps. And I tumbled down the last 3 and hit the floor. And from the other room, all you hear is me saying, I'm okay. So I get up and I dust off my kneecap. Oh, God. I feel like I go to the other hand. I shake the guy's hand, and he's like, are you okay? I'm like, I'm good. It happens to me all the time. Oh, what? I do it. So At this time, I think this was before my arthritis set in.
Oh my God.
I was able to bounce back. Today, I would still be on that floor. So,
Okay. It's not good on the hill, but solid looking.
Life alert. Life alert. That would be today. So, so then we finally get ready to go, get into the car, and everybody goes to get in. And he had like an SUV that really sat off the ground. And so as I go to put my left leg in, all of a sudden, all you hear is it's a big rip. And so those old faithful pants that are 100 years old finally gave out on the crack of my ass.
Oh my God.
Where I was wearing my first thong ever in life because, you know, you had to be cute as if you should have known. So I'm literally ass out now. At the beginning of the date, I've already fallen down the steps and now I've ripped the pants and we haven't even left the driveway. So I'm telling my roommate girl across the street, do you think I can borrow your jacket for a moment to put it around my waist?
Wait, you didn't go back up and just change?
We did, but I had to put her jacket.
Oh, God, because you're actually hanging out.
And it wasn't like they were going to get full coverage pants. No, they're on view. So I go back into the house and I change into a pair of jeans. Now I look like a lumberjack. You know what I'm saying? Now I've got the Portland outfit on, my backup. Okay. And so we finally go. We end up going to have Mexican food because who doesn't love tacos?
Right.
I'm at the restaurant now and we're just having casual conversation. And evidently I have no table manners because I'm dropping shit in my shirt. You know, cleavage is out. I got the girls sitting up. Got a low V cut going and chips are just missing my mouth and landing right. So I'm just like, let me get that chip and I'm just eating them out. But there wasn't a second date. That's not a second.
He was like this bitch.
There was not a second date because clearly I don't know how to conduct myself in public. Oh, but yeah, that was one of my dating stories. I will take ownership for why this one didn't work out. This had nothing to do with the date. This one had everything to do with me. I fucked up from the steps to the car to the restaurant. That was 3 strikes. I'm out.
That is great. Oh my God. I can see this thing happening. So, note, this is why Nik B is habitually single.
But you know, at least I wasn't wasting chips. You know what I'm saying?
You know, you're
starting somewhere.
You save money on chips, pants, and you give back casino money. So you are a very economically sound woman. Nik B, so real quick, because we're about to wrap up, are there any advice, pointers, tips that you have real quick that would help secure a good date?
Make sure your pants aren't on their last thread.
Check that scene.
No, I'm on this theme. No, I would say to secure a really good first date, I think that it's really important to actively listen to the person you're interested in dating, what their interests are, so that you can plan something to do that is fun for both of you guys, that's a little outside of the box. Nobody wants to just go sit in the movie theater where you can't interact. But, you know, like what I appreciated about the art museum date was he listened. He heard me when I say, this does it for me. I don't even know if he likes art museums, but he knew I did.
Gotcha.
And so for me, it was a wonderful first date. I would say when you're planning a first date, be mindful. Mm-hmm. Put thought into it. Put some effort into it. And that will make for a really good first date. What about you?
I would say I say the same thing. Be thoughtful and I would say curate something that creates a good memory, because a good memorable moment is always going to secure a second date. Don't do something that you can't repeat, because you know, don't do this really high volume, super fantabulous thing that you cannot do again.
Set an expectation.
Right. Yeah. So I would say just be thoughtful, like you said. Make it memorable, make it genuine, curate conversations, ask really good questions, but not in an interview kind of way, but just like a conversational way. And don't buy condoms and tell somebody. I mean, have them ready. If you just be prepared. Like, why would you go to the store and buy condoms at 7-Eleven?
And if stay ready, you ain't got to give
that part. That means you're not prepared for life. I'm just saying.
on life's terms.
All right. Well, y'all have heard some of our dating stories. Y'all finally got to hear a couple of mine. Woohoo. I'll have some more by next season. But this concludes episode 10 of season 2, y'all. We are so sad to see y'all, but we'll be back.
We will be.
Take short breaks, real short breaks. We'll be back again. And Nik B, where can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram at Nik B _ Nik B. That's Nick with a K. Or, of course, that can be reached on all of our social media with Dirty Roses Podcast.
Yeah.
And Leigh LaRie, where can we find you?
You all can find me on every single platform. Leigh LaRie, LeighlLarie. And like Nik B said, the Dirty Roses Podcast on all platforms. And our website, dirtyrosespodcast.com. You can find us on YouTube. You can watch us there. But our website has all the links to every single podcast and video that we've done. We're on like 24, 36, I don't know, a gang of platforms that we're a gaggle. We are gaggle. A gaggle.
Okay.
That sounds really nasty considering the conversations.
A gab.
The girl was gaggling in that cab.
That was the sound she was making.
All right, y'all. This was great. We're so happy to wrap up season 2, and we will catch you for season Trace.